Okay, g'day all. It's part two of the Hyundai Santa Fe 2024 Singapore variant of the calligraphy. And this video is about things that I probably don't like and wish they had changed. And this is about a month after we've used it. The first thing is the fob. I've already talked about the useful things in the other video, the remote start and the ability to be able to remote drive the vehicle forward and backwards. But what I actually don't like about this fob is that it's cheap. And what do I mean by it's cheap? It can scratch easily with these silver surfaces. So, you know, I've bought a covering for it, but it's a pretty cheap looking fob for a vehicle that you're paying you know, good money for. The second thing is the emergency access in case the fob doesn't work. It's actually not on the fob. We've had you know, other vehicles where the emergency access key or pin is within the fob itself, whereas this one here doesn't have it embedded in the fob. So you've actually got to carry it separately, and that's a bit of a pain in the back side. Singapore version. So what are some issues that I don't like? Heated seats in the back. I mean, why would you have heated seats in the back here in Singapore where average temperature is about 32 degrees? It makes no sense. I don't know why they didn't change it to cooling. I mean, that's you know, obviously more practical. The driver assist, oh, that's a real pain. And what do I mean there? It has this lane warning, and that thing and this other thing called sort of driver awareness. You have to turn it off and on every time you get in the car, and the car will fight you if you're in a situation where there's marked lanes, or there was previously marked lanes, or there's roadworks. And here in Singapore, as most Singaporeans will tell you, we always have roadworks. So, you know, the previous lane markings will still be there, and the car gets a little bit confused about what to do, and that's a real problem. The next thing are these beautiful sort of, how do I describe it, really shiny surfaces that you have in the car. I foresee that when they get scratched, it'll look pretty bad. There's a blacked out version of the calligraphy, which is a really nice looking car. The reason why we didn't get it was because those black trims are invisible. You can't even see it. So it's kind of, you're paying good money for this black trim that you just can't see. Well, the eyesight, real pain, because you take it thinks when it takes your eyes off the road, it will alarm and you know really nag you to death, which is something I really don't like. So you consistently have to turn off both things, this lane assist and this you know, driver awareness assist, every time you get in the car. And I don't know why it just doesn't default to the last settings. The Singapore version of the Santa Fe doesn't have the Bose sound systems that you get elsewhere. So you're paying top dollar for the calligraphy, but you don't get the Bose sound systems. You just get the generic sort of in-house Hyundai one. And you hear the difference. If you've ever heard a Bose system in a car, my God, it sounds good. So, you know, they've obviously tried to save some money. The Singapore version doesn't have the cabin announcement. So what that does is allows a driver to be able to make an announcement to the passengers in the third row. For some reason, this version doesn't have what's one of the unique selling features of this vehicle, three-road vehicle elsewhere. We also, here in Singapore, don't have the weather app. I have no idea why not. In the driving modes, we don't have snow, which kind of makes sense, so they've obviously adapted it. But there are other driving modes which we don't have, which I also don't understand. We seem to lack a screensaver, which we have in the other versions of these vehicles elsewhere. It says that it's there, but it just doesn't work. There's other issues that I think that exist, and one of them is, and let me try and get here and show it to you without disclosing the license plate, because that would be a bit silly on my part. Let me open this. So when you have the sunshade for the storage area, which is very useful, obviously it keeps the car much cooler and things like that, but when you take it out, there's actually no storage for you to put in. There was obviously space for it to go into, but because they've put the toolbox here, you can't even put it anywhere, and it doesn't fit neatly flush against the second row. So that was kind of like a design flaw, if you ask me, that they would have made something like that. Okay, so let me now close this and lock this boot. The second thing is it's very, very sensitive. If you're going near the vehicle, it will open and sometimes even trap you. This vehicle is very large. If you live in a HDB, you kind of really need to think about it because it's tight to get in the parking spots. So you'll have to use the remote drive facility to get in and out, I would suspect. Cup holders in the doors. Okay, so what do I want to tell you about this one here? This is kind of like a really simple design initially, but the floor is pretty bad when you think about it, right? So let me explain that as this car comes by and hope it doesn't kill me. The cup holders, okay, are here in the door. And there's another set at the bottom. But if you buy takeaway food from your fast food joints or whatever else, you put them in this door and you slam this door, you know what's going to happen? Those drinks are going to go flying in the back of your car. And if you've got a white interior like what we do, it's going to make a mess. So I have no idea why they put it there. They could have certainly put, I would have thought, a cup holder here that could just pull out. But I don't know why they didn't. And like I mentioned, before, heated seats here in Singapore. What were you thinking, Hyundai? You could have just removed that facility, or even the distributor could have removed that before they moved the car here. So overall, it's a very good car. It's a pleasure to drive. It's a car that I would probably consider like a GT, a Grand Tourer. It's a car that you drive leisurely rather than speed. Some of those problems that I mentioned, like the safety features, I don't know why you can't default turn them off. It's not like it's required here in Singapore. The other features are obviously brilliant, but obviously the driver assist warning and the lane changing, that makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so this is part 2 of Hyundai Santa Fe 2024 Singapore variant calligraphy. G'day.